The Burj Khalifa has 24,348 windows, but nobody has ever finished cleaning them. The Burj Khalifa is a $1.5 billion tower, and its glass is never all clean at once. A crew of 36 men needs 3 to 4 months for one pass up and back down, in wind and heat the whole way. On the day they reach the top, the bottom is dirty again with dust and salt, so they start over. At first, this might just seem like an expensive housekeeping problem. Every tall building in Dubai has a cleaning budget, and the Burj Khalifa is simply taller. Housekeeping is not what this is. On this tower, the glass is not decoration. The glass is the wall, the glass is the insulation, and the glass is the only thing holding back a desert that hits 113 degrees Fahrenheit in August. And the men who keep that glass clean work outside, on ropes, in that heat. You have grabbed a car door handle in a parking lot in July. Hold that hot feeling in your hand. Now hold it for 6 hours, 400 meters above Dubai, with wind noise in your ears and dry air pulling the water out of your skin. To understand what happens on the outside of the Burj Khalifa, you have to stop thinking about the view from the top. You have to start thinking about the surface. Here is the first number that matters. The outside of the Burj Khalifa carries roughly 142,000 square meters of glass and metal, in about 26,000 separate panels. Laid flat on the ground, those panels would cover close to 20 soccer fields. Here is the second number. A crew of around 36 men cleans all of it by hand. Divide the first number by the second. Each man carries responsibility for something near 4,000 square meters of glass. Every cycle, for as long as the Burj Khalifa stands. The division is my arithmetic, not an official figure from Emaar Properties. But both inputs are public, and neither has changed since the Burj Khalifa opened on the 4th of January 2010. Facade maintenance on towers of this class is routinely reported in the millions of dollars a year. That budget does not buy a finished job. The money buys the Burj Khalifa one more lap. Most people at Emaar Properties would tell you the washing is about appearance. Guests pay Emaar for a clean view of the Gulf, and dirty glass is bad for business. Both of those things are true, and both are the smallest part of what is going on here. Here is what actually lands on that glass. Desert dust is not soft. Dust in Dubai is quartz, and quartz is sharp. Dust settles on the glass, and humidity off the Gulf turns that dust into a paste. The paste dries in the sun and bakes on. Left through one summer, dust grinds away at the coating that keeps heat out of the Burj Khalifa. The coating is the entire point of the facade. Engineers call it a low emissivity coating. The coating is a metal layer thinner than a human hair, and that layer lets light pass while pushing heat back outside. Strip the coating away, and every window in the Burj Khalifa becomes a small greenhouse. In this climate, the cooling plant would fight a load nobody sized it to carry. So washing the Burj Khalifa is not cosmetic work. Washing the Burj Khalifa is maintenance on the skin of the building. Dust is the first contaminant, the second one is worse, and the second one is salt. The Burj Khalifa stands near the coast, and the sea air carries salt inland every night. Salt attacks the seals between panels. When a seal opens, the argon gas trapped between two sheets of glass escapes, and that panel stops insulating. You end up with a hole in the wall of the Burj Khalifa that you can still see through. So the crew on the ropes is not polishing anything. They are slowing corrosion down by hand. Now the repair problem. When a panel does fail, the fix is not simple. A sealed glazing unit cannot be repaired in place, so it has to be replaced whole. The job needs a new unit made to match, a platform brought to that exact spot, and a weather window with low wind. On a normal office block that is a morning of work. 400 meters up the tallest building on Earth, it is a scheduled operation. A single replacement unit at that height is a 5-figure job before anyone counts platform time. Every panel that keeps its seal is a panel nobody has to pay for twice. The replacement list is the quiet economics of this job. The crew is not there to make the Burj Khalifa shine. The crew is there to keep the replacement list short. If you want more of these, subscribing to PT Team helps. The story stops being about engineering here. Now the story is about who pays. Here is why that matters. Somebody chose glass. The choice was made in an office in Dubai, by people who would never carry a bucket up a rope. Glass was the right choice for the schedule, and the right choice for the sales brochure. And glass committed a workforce nobody had met yet, to a job with no end date. The decision that created this job was made on paper, years before anyone hung a rope off the Burj Khalifa. Excavation started in 2004. Samsung C&T led construction. The design came from Skidmore, Owings and Merrill, the Chicago firm behind the Sears Tower. MR Properties finished the exterior cladding in 2009, and the Burj Khalifa opened that following January. Glass was the fast answer. Panels arrive on a truck already made, a crew lifts them into place, and the crew moves up a floor. Glass went up quickly and sold apartments before the Burj Khalifa was finished. Stone would have been slower. Stone needs more structure underneath, and weight at 800 meters gets expensive all the way to the foundation. So glass won on the spreadsheet. Glass usually does. Nobody in that room was going to be the one washing it. Now, who does this work? The men on the ropes do not work for the Burj Khalifa. They work for maintenance contractors, and most come from South Asia. Many arrived in Dubai on a 2-year contract, paid a recruitment fee to get here, and send most of what they earn home every month. They are trained to a real standard. Rope access follows rules written by bodies such as IRATA International, which certifies technicians and requires 2 independent ropes at all times. It is a genuine trade with a real safety record. But no certificate lowers the temperature. Here is what that leaves you with. The Burj Khalifa came with its own cleaning machines. 18 building maintenance units sit on tracks built into the structure. Each unit is a track-mounted crane with an arm that swings out and lowers a platform down the face. These machines are remarkable, and they cost millions of dollars. And here is the limit you have to understand. The machines only reach so far up the Burj Khalifa. Above roughly level 109, the Burj Khalifa narrows and steps back into the spire, and the tracks end there. From that point to the tip, at 2,717 feet, the work is done by men on ropes with buckets. So here is the thing to sit with. The most advanced building in the world hands its last 300 meters to a man, a rope, and a squeegee. There is no version where the machines take over. The spire is too narrow for a track and too irregular for a cradle. Whoever designed the last 300 meters of the Burj Khalifa designed a permanent job for a man on a rope. Now the money gets uncomfortable. Hold the rope and the bucket in your head while these numbers go past. A 1-bedroom apartment in the Burj Khalifa has sold for well over $1 million. Emaar Properties sold a large share of those apartments before construction finished. The Burj Khalifa cost about $1.5 billion to build, and you are looking at the cheapest part of that number every time you see the glass. The surface protecting all of that value is maintained by men earning a fraction of 1 month of service charge on a single apartment. Here is the detail worth holding on to. On a summer afternoon, a rope technician on the south face has no shade for his whole shift. The glass beside him reflects the sun straight back, so he is heated from 2 directions at once. The people on the other side of that same glass sit in air held near 72 degrees Fahrenheit. They cannot hear him, and he cannot hear them. You have stood on both sides of a window like that, just never 400 meters up. 1 sheet of glass, 2 climates in the Burj Khalifa, 6 inches apart. The sentence about 2 climates never made it into an Emaar brochure. And what separates those 2 men is not skill and not effort. The difference is which side of the glass their contract put them on. One of them paid to be there, the other was sent. Start his day earlier, and you get the rest of it. He signs on before sunrise, because the usable hours are at the front of the day. He checks 2 ropes and a descender. He checks a backup device and an anchor point. Then another technician checks all of it again, and that second check is the reason he goes home. His harness carries about 20 pounds of gear. The water bottle he clipped on is warm within an hour and hot by 10. His gloves stay wet with cleaning solution, and the solution dries on his forearms and leaves a crust you can scratch off with a thumbnail. He works with his back to 900 feet of open air. The wind up there is not a breeze. The wind is a constant push on one shoulder, and it changes direction every time he passes a setback. At 12:30 in July he stops, because the law says he stops. He comes down, sits in shade, and waits out the middle of his own working day. Those hours are still paid for by somebody, and they still appear in the building's maintenance budget. They simply produce no clean glass. Then he goes back up, and tomorrow he does all of it again. The job repeats every day the weather allows it. Now add the rule that decides how much of that day he actually gets. Since 2005, the United Arab Emirates has enforced what is called the Midday Break. The Ministry of Human Resources and Emiratization prohibits outdoor work in direct sun during the hottest part of the afternoon. The ban runs from the 15th of June to the 15th of September. The window is 2.5 hours, from 12:30 until 3. The midday break is a good rule. The midday break exists because men died before it existed. The heat behind it is measured, not estimated. The National Center of Meteorology records conditions across the Emirates, and Dubai summers run above 110 degrees Fahrenheit through July and August, with humidity that stops sweat from working. On the sunlit face of the Burj Khalifa, the surface a technician touches is hotter than the air around him. But consider what the midday break does to the cleaning cycle. The rule removes 2.5 hours from every working day for 3 months. 3 months is 92 days. 92 days times 2.5 hours comes to 230 hours. So convert that into something you can picture. 230 hours is roughly 29 working days, a month of labor, deleted by law, every year. And the midday break is only the first cut. Here is the second cut. Wind. Suspended platforms come down when the wind rises, because a cradle hanging 400 meters up becomes dangerous long before the wind feels strong at street level. Wind speed climbs with height, and a tower that steps inward accelerates air around its corners. So a crew high on the Burj Khalifa can be grounded on an afternoon that feels calm to everyone below. Every hour lost that way still costs money, because a crew on standby is a crew being paid to sit in a van. Here is the third cut. Humidity. On mornings when Gulf air is heavy, condensation forms on cold glass, and washing it only pushes water around. The crews wait it out, and the cost of waiting goes on the bill. So the real question is not how fast these men can clean. The real question is how many usable hours the Burj Khalifa gives them in a year. Nobody publishes that number, but here is the shape of it, and you can check every input. One full pass takes 3 to 4 months in good conditions. Summer removes about a month of legal working time. Wind and humidity remove more. And the cycle has to run anyway. The salt does not take the summer off. Go back to the number you started with. 24,348 windows. Now put a working year against it. If a crew of 36 gets through one full pass in roughly 100 working days, that is something near 7 windows per man per hour, every hour, without stopping. The pace assumes nothing goes wrong. The pace assumes no wind, no waiting, and no summer. So what do the engineers and the facility managers actually do about this? There are 4 answers, and every one of them costs somebody something. The first answer is scheduling. Managers push the heavy work into winter, from November to March, when the air over Dubai is dry and a crew can use the whole afternoon. Winter scheduling works. Winter scheduling also means the Burj Khalifa is cleanest in the season when the cooling load is lowest, and dirtiest in August when the cooling load peaks. The schedule runs backwards from the physics. The second answer is coatings, and this one sounds like it should solve everything for you. Manufacturers sell self-cleaning glass with a titanium dioxide layer. Sunlight breaks the grime down, and rain carries it off the panel. That works in places that get rain. Dubai averages under 4 inches of rain a year, so in this city self-cleaning glass does not clean itself. The third answer is machines. Robotic facade cleaners work on flat, simple towers. The Burj Khalifa has a stepped Y-shaped plan with more than 20 setbacks, and every setback is an edge a robot has to negotiate. So the machines take the easy panels, and the men take the rest. The fourth answer is to spend more. Hire additional crews, run more shifts, shorten the cycle. That raises the service charge, which Emaar bills to apartment and office owners by the square foot every single year. Service charges in Dubai are not invented freely. The Dubai Land Department reviews them and publishes approved rates across the city. Facade cleaning sits in that budget beside lifts, fire systems, and chilled water. So there is a real process and a real regulator. And there is still no line on the form where an owner can decline. The cleaning is not a service the Burj Khalifa offers. The cleaning is a condition of the Burj Khalifa continuing to work. An owner who bought in 2010 has now paid that charge for 16 straight years. The Burj Khalifa has never once asked whether this year was convenient. So here is the pattern underneath all four. Every one of those four answers loses to somebody. Scheduling loses to the physics. The coding loses to the climate. The robot loses to the geometry. And the extra crew loses to the owner opening the bill. What follows is a hypothetical engineering stress test. It is not a description or a prediction of an actual event at any specific building. So picture a single year in which four ordinary things arrive together. A long dust season in spring, so the panels start the summer dirtier than usual. A hot August, which stretches the period when afternoon work is restricted. A run of windy weeks that keeps the upper platforms on the ground. And a contractor change that pauses the crew for 6 weeks. Here is the one people forget. Facilities contracts turn over on a cycle of their own, and a new company has to recruit, train, and certify a crew before a single rope goes over the parapet. The Burj Khalifa does not pause while that happens. None of those four events is unusual on its own. Each one has happened somewhere. So put all four into the same 12 months, and the cycle does not slip by days. The cycle slips by a season. The lower third of the Burj Khalifa gets its next wash 4 months late, and no crew is on that face in between. Salt sits in those seals through the hottest weeks of the year, chewing at the rubber that holds each pane together while nobody is on a rope to see it. The low emissivity coating on the west face carries a full summer of baked quartz. What does that do to the cooling bill the following year? What does it do to seals that are already old? And who finds out first? The owner reading a statement from Emaar, or the man sent up with a bucket? Nobody has to answer those questions today. The silence around them is exactly why they are worth asking now. Here is the part that usually gets called an engineering failure, and is not one. Nothing about the Burj Khalifa is broken. The glass performs as designed. The 18 machines run. The men are trained and certified. The midday break that shortens their afternoons exists to keep them alive, and it should exist. So here is the honest description. What expired at the Burj Khalifa is an assumption. The assumption was that a sealed glass envelope, built for cool, cloudy cities, could be scaled to 828 meters in a desert and maintained on a fixed schedule forever. The glass was the cheap part. The forever was not. And this is not only a Dubai story. Phoenix and Las Vegas have glass towers rising right now, and so do Houston and Riyadh. Every one of those buildings is signing the same permanent contract with the same kind of rope crew, in cities whose summers keep breaking records. The bill arrives every quarter for as long as the building stands. This video covers general engineering principles and publicly reported figures, and it is not a safety assessment of any specific structure. 36 men are somewhere on the side of the Burj Khalifa right now, working down a face they have cleaned before and will clean again. They will not finish. Finishing was never on the schedule and never in the budget, because a budget with an end date would have been a different building. If you have ever worked a trade outdoors in real heat, leave a comment about the hottest shift you ever worked and how your crew got through it. Those are the comments people here read first.